Hello everyone. This video is about ranking the news on Infobit, and in particular how to update your rank if you have ranked it recently. So I ranked my news. I actually went over here into my rank and I made this ranking right here a few hours ago. I guess it was something like 5 hours ago. And I have not ranked it since, and all of this news here has arrived. Now, I try to keep the unranked queue here, I mean this part right here, clear. You don't have to if you don't want to, but what I would recommend is that at least you keep these things, the green ones, ranked. So, the first thing that I do when I go to re-rank news is I look for old bits. So this bit is 11 hours old. It's gonna, to my mind, expire. It doesn't really expire until it's 36 hours old, really. But um, by the time it's 12 hours old or so, this is just what I say. I mean, you can make it 14 or 16 hours or 10 hours, I've heard some people say, whatever. At that point, it's like, it's too old for you, right? So you don't want to put it in your rank anymore. So this is like getting close. It's actually okay. Um, Especially because it's not a earth-shatteringly important story. I'm actually okay with making room for other stuff. And another thing that I will do is if there's a relatively new story, I will actually bump that up, especially if the other ones are like 9 hours and 8 hours and so forth like that. And then I look at these ones that are 5 hours old, and I'm just considering these ones don't seem to be very important. Actually, they could be earth-shatteringly important, but I'm just not in a position to be able to tell. Okay, so the next step, now that I've sort of pre-ranked the ones that are already there, the next step that I do is I actually will read what appears here, just the first facts of each. So I'm going to have a look at this one right here. I've read it, and that's pretty horrifying. And then I open this up. More evidence of the Islamic State's horrifying moral bankruptcy. Um, and I'm sure we're going to hear about that, and it's going to be part of the history of the Islamic State, this notion that they are selling the organs of their victims is just amazing. So I'd say that's pretty big news. The next question is, where does this story fit in? There is one thing to mention here, and that is how highly we want to rank a bit really depends on how credible the source is. So this source here is Iraq's ambassador to the United Nations, which is perhaps not the most credible source in this case. I mean, it's conceivable, probably not likely in my opinion, but conceivable that they just made it up as part of some sort of propaganda or something. Again, I really doubt that, but something to keep in mind. So I am going to put it, I think I'm going to put it here. Pretty important. Not maybe the most important story of the day, but you might disagree. So that's essentially what I'm doing then. I just go through each one. In many cases, I might have to click through to the source, or one of the sources, and because I might not learn enough. Although with a long bit like this, I usually don't have to do that. I only have to do that, I find, with very short bits. Now let me give you my thinking about this one for what it's worth. Your analysis might be different, and that's what makes Infobit great. But this it takes place just in Oklahoma, and it's basically part of the culture war, especially as regards education, and it's pretty surprising. It's newsworthy, certainly. It's very interesting that they voted to eliminate AP U.S. history simply because it is, well, anti-American or something. This is just sort of a sign of the times piece of news. Probably should go in society. I don't know if that's where Alexander put it. So compared to the other things that are here, is it like more important than any of the news here? To tell you the truth, I don't really think it makes the cut. Although it's a nice long bit, and that's one thing that I really like. Um, and this is not news at all. This one about the sun has developed a cool filament on the surface. It's not. It's just not news. So I feel comfortable placing it right there. Let it take over place number 10. Now, there's a whole bunch of news that has not been ranked. This blue one, by the way, it's blue because you can actually show the key here, and it shows you it's a pooled bit. The community has essentially rated it low. If you really are curious to see how other people have ranked it, you have to go, drag it down here and then do this. And it turns out, so David has put it in rank number 1, but Vivi and Ed have pooled it, which I find is very interesting. So Milan after a suicide in jail, terrific words by members of state correction officers. I don't even know what that means. Seems to be about a suicide in Milan, which I'm not sure how deeply important that is. Perhaps somebody can add to it, and we'll discover that it's more important than we thought. But I don't have time to look through all of the news. That's why it's one reason why it's really important that you get the first fact very well written. Okay, so a lot of these things are by Michael Labossiere, who just his deal is to write bunches of one fact technology bits, and a lot of these are like less important simply because they're like the details of technology. It's sort of filling out the technology category. So I'm going to go ahead and probably drag a bunch into the pool. In fact, I'm going to find the ones that only the ones that can be dragged into the pool. So here we go. This one I think can be put there. This minor detail about an old story. No, not that interesting. Now I'm afraid we are seeing a bug here. I dragged it down, and we try it out again. Okay. When you see a bug like this, now I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm not seeing it here or here. What I'll just do is refresh. Sorry about the bug. We will fix it eventually, I'm sure. So there we go. And yeah, so now it's down there. Machine learning as an Azure service. Let's see here. NBC has started streaming video on mobile devices. Well, that's good for NBC. All right. Google Play now works on the iPad. Wow. Oh, Google Play Music now works on the iPad. Now, this is one that I might want to look at real quick. Yeah. Okay, so I guess that does give a new... the question is that like more important than some of these? Probably not. Probably not. Let's go ahead and just move it. Another thing about Azure. That's very interesting. Improve speed and encryption. This could be important. Wow. The first major revision since 1999 of HTTP. Wow. Well, that's a big deal. That is definitely more important. So that's some front page tech news there, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to figure out where to put this. Golly, that is big news. I'm going to put it definitely more important than that. You know, just a second. I'm looking at this one. This is one that really is not important at all because I'm going to have to the one at the in the number 10 space is going to have to go off the page. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take this and I don't know. Golly, this is really big. I'm going to put it there. All right, and some cargo ship runs aground near Scotland. 9 crew members, no injuries. Big deal. Okay, and I'm done. That didn't take too long, did it? You might want to take longer by looking at the stories and so forth a little more carefully than I did. Okay, after this, now this is another thing that needs to be fixed, but the top stories has not been updated in the background. It should be, but it isn't. So what you need to do to force it to update is to reload the page. So this is the latest ranking of the news, including my ranking. So it looks like, yeah, here's another bug. Sometimes you drag things into the pool and it just doesn't catch for some reason. So or you drag them rather into your rank. And so I'm going to go ahead and put mine right here. Now it should work. Refreshing one more time. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that.